time is 6:30 p.m. The regular meeting of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Freehold for May 18, 2026 is now called to order. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided at least 48 hours prior to commencement of this meeting pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 231 of the laws of 1975, the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice of the time, date, and location of this meeting has been provided by posting a copy of the public meeting dates on the municipal bulletin board, by sending a copy to the Asbury Park Press and the Star Ledger, by filing a copy with the municipal clerk. If you ask everyone to please stand for a salute to the flag, followed by a moment of silence. If you please read it. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Kane.
Here.
Councilman Benedetto.
Here.
Councilman Friedman.
Here.
Councilwoman Jordan. Here. Councilman Reich.
Here.
Councilwoman Rogers. Here. Councilwoman Shutzer.
Here.
Okay, item 4, workshop discussion. Anything for workshop?
Nothing to workshop, sir.
Item 5 is our administrative report. Turn it over to our administrator, Steve Gallo.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council, citizens here in the chamber, and those who may be watching at home. I'll briefly synopsize some of the activities of the borough, and then we can move the regular agenda. With regard to redevelopment within the borough, the acquisition of 32 Broad Street is underway, and the condemnation litigation is wrapping up in court. Capadaglia is also completing the acquisition of other parcels in the redevelopment area, and we have a meeting later on this week with Dynamic Engineering to discuss the water and sewer utility service to the project. The developer is finalizing their land use application, and final plan should be before the Unified Planning Board early this summer. Victory Court redevelopment project on Court Street and Broad Street was on the agenda for the last planning board meeting, but it was postponed because there was an issue with their stormwater system, which they have to take a second look at. The project should be heard at the next Historic Preservation Commission meeting, as well as the planning board immediately thereafter. 200 Park Avenue is awaiting the filing of a stormwater operations manual, and their architect is finalizing their plans. They are presently in resolution compliance, negotiating back and forth with the engineers, and they expect this process will take until the middle of June, at which time they'll be able to commence construction. With regard to Nestle's has been, the redevelopment of the Nestle site has been stalled for some time. Nestle's doesn't communicate with us or our attorney. There is significant groundwater contamination at the site, and it doesn't seem like anyone is actively working to address this issue. We are planning this evening to change the redevelopment declaration, adding a condemnation provision. Freehold Raceway, we're maintaining regular contact with the new owners of the Raceway property. We've agreed to approach the property with a bifurcated redevelopment approach, with single-family residential units considered on the parking lot side, and on the other side, we're in discussions about a possible mixed-use destination, retail, sports, recreation approach on the Raceway side. We're going to continue the redevelopment study for the parking lot side, and this is very, very early in the process, so there will be a lot of negotiations to come. 500 Park Avenue, the redevelopment plan for this parcel was slightly revised and amended, and it was heard by the planning board and will be returning to the council for final adoption. With regard to our roadway projects, Bond and Liberty Street are completed. Project is being closed out. The engineering contract has been awarded for Robertsville, Mead, and Runyon resurfacing project, and it's currently in the design phase. We expect this to be out to bid sometime in June. Elm, Patton, Michael, and Pittenger Streets, likewise, an engineering contract has been awarded, and the project is currently in design, and this should be out to bid in June as well. We're still awaiting final approval from NJDOT with regard to The crosswalk beacons on Main Street and at Throckmorton, my understanding is that we've applied for a permit that DOT advises that we need, and we're ready to go. I have a meeting with Steve Kislik, the design engineer on this, on Wednesday. We also have a large number of park projects in the pipeline. We have the Jake's Law Lenore Street Park accessible playground, and during the design phase, there was identified some environmental issues that had to be addressed. They were addressed and remediated to the satisfaction of Green Acres, and now we should be ready to go out to bid shortly. We have funding for this project through Green Acres and through the Monmouth County Open Space Program, so that park improvement shouldn't cost us any direct taxpayer dollars. Musgrave Park, same situation. They had an environmental assessment with historic fill there, and we conducted an analysis and remediated the issue, so Green Acres is satisfied, and funding for this is going through Green Acres and the County Open Space Project. We've been approved for funding for the installation of a stairway into Veterans Park from higher elevations. We're also going to be repairing the picnic structure, installing electricity and additional benches and tables and lightings. We're almost ready to move forward. We have to hire an engineer for this project, and grant funding is being provided through DCA and the Monmouth County Open Space Program. Wilson Field, we've gotten approval for community development block grant funding for the installation of 2 soccer mini pitches, and we need to hire an engineer to begin that process. Liberty Street Park Phase 2, and this is an ambitious project that involves the installation of some pickleball courts, which people are clamoring for, as well as a water feature in the summer when days like today, you can go and cool off. So that should be interesting, and that should be ready to go out to bid sometime within the next couple of weeks. Mr. Kislik's been working on that. Court Street School, the project is underway, obviously, and making good progress. We have been extended until September, so that's probably when they'll be wrapping up. We are working on a few management issues here, including the recodification and online code for our code will be online and searchable and accessible to all via the internet. That should be a useful tool for citizens who are interested in perusing our ordinances. With regard to the parking utility, our wayfinding project will include the installation of signs at the entranceways to each of our paid parking lots that will advise patrons whether or not it is paid day, so that upon entering the parking lot, there will be a sign that will either say paid parking today or no paid parking today, as well as any other information that we need to communicate. We are also in the midst of commissioning a job to resurface and reconstruct the Market Yard parking lot. That facility is in need of a revision. We're going to be changing the landscaping, including new directional signs, new paving of the entire lot, as well as striping and improvements. Our lead service line project is moving forward, and we finance that through the iBank, which provides us with money to finance the project, and then gives us something called loan forgiveness, where we don't have to repay a portion of the monies borrowed for this important project. Likewise, we've received an award of $1,092,000 for the refurbishment of our 2 water towers, and the balance of that will be financed through the iBank. So the net expense of that should be minimal to our utility, because the lion's share will be paid for by grant funding. We also will be installing historic trail signs throughout the borough, indicating different locations that were key locations in the Battle of Monmouth. This is part of our 250th anniversary celebration, and we hope to have this walking trail up and running, and we'll have an inaugural walk for the community to listen to people, to tell them about what happened at each one of the individual sites. Our engineers on the Barkalow and Brentwood traffic study are proposing a series of traffic calming measures for this area, and we're going to work with our grants consultants to get the money to pay for that. And Safe Routes to Schools is incredibly difficult. Because of the nature of the funding source, the Federal Highway Administration, there are some complicated rules that have to be adhered to, and special training courses that we have to have, and certain engineers that have to do things a certain way. But we're moving forward. We have engaged a consultant from the state, who was selected by the state, but they're paying for them instead of us. So it's called the Design Assistance Program, and they will be paying for the engineering costs to install the improvements that they're paying for as well. So it's kind of a win-win situation. We can't let the month pass without a comment about the incident at the library. Obviously, everybody is aware of it. And on behalf of the administration, I would like to thank our police officers, first responders who came in, as well as our partner agencies in the surrounding communities, who responded quickly and secured the site and made it safe as quickly as possible. I know there was a degree of frustration on people's parts because they wanted to know where the shooter was and what was going on, and minute by minute information. And our instructions from our law enforcement professionals were to let the prosecutor's office do the communicating, and that's exactly what we did. They had it in hand, and they knew exactly what they were doing, and it led to a speedy arrest of the suspect and the situation. I'd also like to commend our staff who were on site and had to unfortunately witness the situation. We had 2 employees who were on site, and we're working with them and all the staff members. They're giving us recommendations for how we can make the facility safer and harden it against these type of activities. We're going to be making some investments on security features, including enhanced camera systems, emergency call buttons. We're looking at means of ingress and egress to the library, and we're looking at the library's policies to have recommendations to the library board about things that we can do to make things safer. After the event happened, there was a lot of work that had to be done to clean up. There was some blood that was spread around the facility, and it had to be completely disinfected and sent for lab testing. The entire premises has been cleaned. We're laying some new carpet tiles that we are unfortunately having difficulty securing, and that should be they should be in this week and installed. And I'll leave it to the library board and the staff to arrive at a decision with regard to when the library will be open to the public. We want to make sure that it's safe and that it's totally cleaned up and that there's no residuals prior to that occurring. That's my report. Happy to answer any questions, or we can move the agenda.
Thank you. Any questions, comments from council?
Yeah, I'll make a comment. The redevelopment aspect, Steve, I have to commend the staff and the people who are involved in these meetings. They just don't happen overnight.
Of course.
There's a lot of massaging that goes on, and we meet with the developers to make what they're building, what they're developing, into what we expect up to Freehold standards. Also, there's sometimes that we are limited on the developer coming in with 20 apartments. We might have to cut them, try to cut them down to like 9 apartments. So some of the things we're doing, we took quite a few meetings with our professionals, with some of the council in there, and I'd just like to thank you, Steve, for heading off all the development committees. One we are going to touch in the future, I had happened to go to the park system and met with Director Spears. The Monmouth County Trail does come through, the bike trail, come through Freehold now, and it will continue to Freehold Township. We've had a few problems with garbage, we've had a few problems with some issues on the trail. The cameras get being kicked around here between, is it borough property, is it township property? I've spoken to the chief in Freehold Township, I've spoken to our chief, and I actually walked the trail. So we finally met with the county. They were on board. They will have a face with the emails now, and we'll be meeting with them to make sure that this park that they're building is massaged in a way that the borough people can enjoy it,
That is 100% correct.
So that not everything that is on Facebook, again, or Facebook, or whatever you call it.
Sure.
Social media is true.
Yeah, we enjoy a good relationship with the designated developer for Hometown. There are things going on in terms of negotiations that always take a little more time than you want them to, but in the end, we have a cooperative relationship, and there's presently no litigation between the borough and any developer.
I told the person I was unaware of any lawsuit, but
Sure.
I'll get back to you.
Yep.
And no anticipated litigation?
No, none.
Okay, thank you. Item 6, seeking approval of minutes, council meeting May 4th, 2026.
I'd like to move the minutes, please. I'll second that, please.
Roll call, please.
Councilperson De Benedetto?
Yes.
Freeman?
Yes.
Jordan? Abstain? Reich?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schuster?
Yes.
Okay, the minutes of the council meeting for May 4th, 2026 are approved. Tonight is our public hearing on budget, public hearing and adoption. We are under state review, and I don't know how to put this nicely, but when you talk to anybody around the state, and everybody jumping through hoops this year with some changes at the division. But we have an extra piece. What we're going to do, we're going to have a budget presentation by our CFO, Christopher Clinton, and our administrator, Steve Gallo. We are going to have a resolution to amend the budget, and then we're going to have the public hearing. I'm sorry, the budget presentation, then we're going to have the public hearing on the budget, then we're going to have a resolution to adopt an amendment to the budget, and then we're going to adopt the budget as amended. So there's going to be an extra step in there, but as we go along, you guys can explain the whole process and what has been going on. So
Sure.
I'd like to turn the budget presentation over to Steve and Chris.
Sure. We have prepared a slideshow. It will be available on the website for anybody who would like to see it. And it's obviously, we have it here in the chamber. So this is a review, it's a high-level review of the 2026 municipal budget. The total municipal budget is $21,626,851.41. This is a breakdown of where the percentages of your tax dollars go. 37% goes to the borough, 2% to the library, 10% to the county, 33% to borough schools, and 18% to the regional school district. The Borough of Freehold's 2026 budget is comprised of 3 separate funds, including the current fund at $21,626,850.41. The water and sewer utility, which is $6,681,349.59. And the parking utility, $710,036. And the chart shows a comparison year to year on each one of these funds. The appropriations and revenue, our proposed municipal tax rate for 2026 is projected at 72 cents per $100 of assessed valuation. That represents a decrease of 2 cents or 2.65% compared to the 2025 tax rate. The average assessed residential property value within the borough for 2026 is $483,717. And the increase, there's an increase of 9.5% over 2025 assessed valuations of $406,031. Based on this assessment, the average homeowner will experience an estimated annual increase of $218.11 in the municipal tax rate, representing a 6.65% increase over 2025. The 2026 budget reflects the borough's continued commitment to fiscal responsibility while maintaining a strong focus on public safety, public health, resident welfare, and overall quality of life. Despite ongoing financial pressures, including rising residential service costs, increasing utility expenses, the insurance costs, and mandatory statutory obligations, the borough has successfully controlled expenditures and strategically utilized our surplus funds to preserve essential municipal services. In accordance with the New Jersey State Statute, the proposed 2026 budget is $256,095.41 below the appropriations cap and $435,710.75 below the tax levy cap. The budget's long-term financial planning continues to prioritize the maintenance and stability of the municipal fund balance. During 2025, the borough successfully replenished our surplus funds utilized within the budget and increased the overall municipal surplus by an additional $324,149.84. Recurring revenue generated through the local cannabis tax has continued to provide meaningful tax relief to our residents. The budget realized $408,879.21 in cannabis tax revenue during 2025. This revenue, combined with ongoing redevelopment initiatives and new construction projects, will continue to expand our tax base in the future, and that has strengthened the borough's financial position while helping to mitigate the burden on our taxpayers. Contractual and salary and wage increases for 2026 total 2.5%, and then there's accounting for step increases, and personnel costs increased by 6.14%. Unlike the 2025 budget cycle, the borough experienced fewer retirements, resulting in limited opportunities to offset these personnel-related increases. Other expenses increased by 4.45%, which remains a favorable outcome considering ongoing economic pressures and inflationary impacts. Key cost drivers to this include continued increases in postage, fuel, utilities, technology service, garbage collection, maintenance and upkeep expense, insurance premiums, statutorily mandated expenditures such as pension and health benefit contributions. Our property and casualty insurance, including property, liability, automobile, workers' comp, cyber liability, and supplemental assessments, increased by 26.73% in 2026. These costs are allocated among the current fund, library, water and sewer utility, and the parking utility budgets. Health benefit costs have been a challenge for everyone. They continue to rise significantly statewide, with average increases of approximately 36.5%. Mandatory state pension contributions remain a substantial budgetary obligation. In 2026, public employees' retirement system contributions experienced a slight decrease of 1.6%, while police and firemen retirement system contributions increased by 3.46%. And these costs are determined by the state, and they are beyond our local control. The 2026 budget includes funding for several important operational and capital initiatives, including software upgrades across various departments, environmental and design studies, maintenance and upkeeping of our fire department equipment and apparatus, additional hires within the police department, outsourcing of our crossing guard services, police training programs, our successful TNR program, that's for trap, neuter, and release, our document scanning initiative, the preparation of a new master plan this year, and recodification and modernization of the borough's online code system. The proposed budget also incorporates $389,523.11 in grant funding for a variety of initiatives, including neighborhood preservation efforts, economic development projects, and public safety grants. Additional grant funding opportunities are anticipated to continue throughout the year. Our debt service payments within the 2026 budget increased by 12.2%, primarily attributable to higher interest rates and increased principal payments on outstanding notes. These obligations support investments in property acquisitions and related improvements, library renovations, and ongoing improvements to parks, public roads, and public utility infrastructure. The 2026 budget includes appropriations of $1,072,317.11 for the reserve for uncollected taxes based upon a projected tax collection rate of 96.98%. Current fund appropriations expenses can be broken down into the following categories. Salary and wages are $6.8 million. Other expenses are $8.1 million. Statutory charges are $1.8 million. The library is $598,000. State and federal grants, $389,000. Capital and debt service, $2.2 million. Reserve for uncollected taxes, $1 million. And shared service agreements, $458,000. So what are examples of other expenses? These are the costs that are necessary to run our day-to-day operations, including supplies for all the departments, equipment, printing, postage, legal notices, attorney's fees, uniforms, consultants, computers, engineering, property inspections, vehicle expenses, emergency repairs, utilities, the telephone expense, street lighting, custodial services, debt service, interlocal services agreements, municipal court, website, insurance, celebration of public holidays, the Board of Health, garbage removal, recycling, shade tree commission, tree planting, recreation, summer camp, DPW cost, fire department, police department, snow removal. This year we got hit hard, and emergency response. So in terms of our revenue, the 2026 municipal budget includes an appropriation of $3,550,000 from our fund balance to support budget operations. This is comparable to the $3.3 million appropriated in 2025 municipal budget. The additional $250,000 utilization was made possible through positive 2025 operating results and the successful regeneration of surplus. The proposed level of the fund balance utilization remains consistent with prior years and reflects the borough's continued commitment to long-term fiscal stability. The borough anticipates the continued regeneration of surplus through fiscal management and careful monitoring of all revenues and expenditures. In an effort to minimize the impact on our taxpayers, the borough utilizes approximately 50% of its available fund balance to support the 2026 budget. The borough anticipates recurring revenue sources that will strengthen future financial stability, including local tax revenue and fees generated from local cannabis sales, additional revenue and tax ratables associated with the hometown redevelopment area and other significant redevelopment projects currently in progress, the strategic reallocation of eligible expenses to our parking utility, revenue generated through water and sewer connection fees, and state aid is expected to remain consistently flat in 2026, with the borough anticipating receipt of $1.2 million in energy receipts tax funding, and no replacement funding has been provided for the municipal tax relief fund that was discontinued in 2025. Current fund revenues can be broken down into the following categories: $13 million to be raised by taxes, both the municipal and library. The surplus fund balance, $3.5 million. Local revenues of $2.2 million. State aid of $1.2 million. $352,000 in grants this year. $598,000 library, and $483 for the collection of delinquent taxes. The municipal tax rate for 2026 is 72 cents per $100 of assessed value, or a 0.02 or 2.65% decrease from 2025. The average residential assessment stands at $483,717, and the average municipal tax per residential property is $3,483.81. The amount to be raised by taxes in this budget is a 4.66% increase over last year. And obviously everyone understands that the variables that go into this include what your individual property is assessed at. Could be higher, could be lower, but this is the average numbers. Water and sewer utilities, appropriations and revenues. Water utilities appropriations can be broken down into the following categories: $1.3 million for salary and wages, $3.9 million for other expenses, including just over $2 million to our treatment partner at the Manasquan River Regional Sewage Authority, capital improvements of $5,000, debt service of $902,000, and statutory expenses and deferred charges of $513,000. Water sewer revenues can be broken down into the following categories. And that includes water sewer billings, miscellaneous revenue, and connection fees of $6.6 million. And we didn't use any surplus this year, so it's $0 for that. So one of the big issues that we've had and we're trying to deal with is the closure of the Nestle's plant in 2025. That's continued to present significant challenges to us and have a negative impact on the revenue generated by the water and sewer utility. As a result of the closure, the utility experienced the loss of approximately $1 million in reoccurring annual water and sewer revenue. In 2025, the borough utilized $998,000 in surplus to help minimize the financial burden on ratepayers. However, due to declining surplus levels, the borough is unable to use surplus to support this budget. Water and sewer rates were increased by 9.25% in 2025, following additional financial analysis in 2026, combined with the continued depletion of surplus and rising operational costs. An additional rate increase was required and it was implemented that is projected to generate approximately 25% in additional utility revenue. In an effort to stabilize the water and sewer utility and strengthen its long-term financial position, the borough will implement several strategic initiatives, including continuing a comprehensive annual analysis of our utility revenue to make sure that sufficient funding for operational expenses and the rebuilding of surplus exists. We will explore and develop alternative revenue sources for the utility, including the implementation of water and sewer connection fees for new development projects, actively recruiting water-intensive development projects such as data centers and hydroponic farming operations, expanding our customer base through the addition of a limited number of new residential users, and possibly marketing excess water to other entities. We did have a go at that last year, and unfortunately, there were plenty of people who wanted to buy our additional allocated water allocation, but they wanted to buy it permanently. They didn't want a temporary sale, and we're not in a position to release our water surplus supply because we're going to need it for future development. Parking utility 2026 appropriation and revenues. Parking utility appropriations can be broken down into the following categories: salary and wages, $370,000, other expenses, $240,000, debt service, $71,000, and statutory expenses of $28,000. At the present time, the parking utility revenues will be solely generated by parking meter and permit fees, parking fees of $542,000, and fund balance of $168,000. And the increase in property values has an effect upon what people pay in property taxes, obviously. And we know that there has been a steady increase in the value of properties in the borough over the past few years. In 2026, that percentage increase was 7.51% overall. And in years past, in 2023, it was 15%. And then it's remained steady at 6 or 7%. Properties are revalued annually under the Monmouth County Assessment Demonstration Program. The change in municipal taxes includes the tax increases in the right-hand column here, and this year's increase of 4.66%, and that includes an additional $585,000 over the prior year. Our annual surplus usage has been consistent over the years, and we successfully regenerate that surplus in the subsequent budget year. This year it's 50%, in past years it's 48 or 49%. The average assessed value in the home has increased, in the town has increased by 9.59%. The average assessed value of a home in the borough is $483,717. So where does all this tax dollars go? Well, we bring services provided through the municipal budget, including garbage and recycling pickup, leaf and brush removal, snow plowing our streets and roads and parking lots, road maintenance, parks and playgrounds, improvements and maintenance, Lake Toponimus, recreation, arts, and cultural programs, operation of our public library. We have a fully accredited professional police department, support for our volunteer fire department, our Office of Emergency Management Response Team, the Board of Health, the Health Department, Animal Control Services, Senior Services, Public Records Management, Elections, Construction, Planning and Zoning, Safe and Clean Drinking Water delivered to your home, Stormwater Management, Sanitary Sewage Removal and Treatment, Municipal Court Operations Costs, Code Enforcement, Fire Safety, and a whole bunch of other things. Capital infrastructure improvements, we have a new modern water treatment plant that's operational. We have our annual road maintenance program, and as I reported earlier, we have some significant paving jobs that are going to take place this summer. We've upgraded and expanded our library facility. We're working on a proposed new home for our police department and fire department. And we have water, sewer, and stormwater utility improvements that are ongoing. We have park and playground improvements that we're going to see this summer. We're looking at a new municipal complex. Our lead service line replacement program should commence this summer. We have public works vehicles and equipment to purchase and maintain, police vehicles and equipment, fire equipment and apparatus. We have a fire engine on the way, a new one. Lake Toponemus improvements, the projects under participatory budgeting, refurbishment of our water towers, parking lot improvements, Court Street Community School improvements, and land acquisition for new public space. We're right in the middle of acquiring property over on Robertsville Road for a new municipal park of approximately 5 acres. And that will be accomplished with grant funds. So, responsible regeneration, okay? We know that there's essentially, like the mayor likes to say, there's only 3 things that we can do. We can raise taxes, and we don't like to do that. Nobody likes to do that. We can cut services. We don't like to do that either. Or we can generate new revenue from new revenue sources, including our hometown redevelopment project, which should be before the Land Use Board in June and July, and under construction before the year is out. We have some land sales that are involved in that process. We have future tax revenue from hometown of $1.2 million or more. And we have other projects in the pipeline right behind that, including on Park Avenue, 200 Park Avenue, 500 Park Avenue, Court Street, and Broad Street, at the Freehold Raceway and at the Nestle property and other locations in town. We also have new revenue coming from cannabis sales, including $400,000 in 2026. We have 4 additional licensed businesses that are coming soon, including the premises that's under construction right next to 618 on Park Avenue. And we anticipate when they're up and running, there will be in excess of $750,000 per year in local cannabis taxes. And then we've implemented water and sewer connection fees. We've had 200 Park Avenue has paid their connection fees and in anticipation of construction, and we anticipate that all of these projects will need to pay connection fees and generate additional revenue. So that is a synopsis of what we have, and we can begin the public hearing.
Okay, great, thank you. Item 8 is the public hearing on the 2026 annual budget. If someone would like to open it up for a public discussion on the public hearing, please step forward, state your name and address for the record.
Chris Velasco, 3 Phoenix Road. Next year, please use a different background so we can all read it with you. I want to, reading yellow on blue, it's very difficult.
It's very well.
Difficult.
Oh, I couldn't hear what you said.
And while the capital improvements is a nice slide, a lot of those things are through grants, so it's not like our tax dollars are paying for it, so it's kind of misleading. What I never hear at this meeting is discussion about school taxes. And it's funny how the Board of Ed meets on the same night as town council, so it's very hard to split your time between the two. But in a lot of other towns, when the school budget, gets presented to the town council, they discuss it and decide whether to accept it or deny the school budget, okay? I understand there may be an increase, and that does affect our taxes. So is the school budget discussed, and is it voted on to accept it or deny it, or?
The school board is autonomous, 100% autonomous under the law. And we have no control over them, or what they do, or what their budget is. We don't vote on it. That's not part of the law. So
Okay, well,
you have to,
They developed their budget.
they developed their budget, I know, but
They
should be
present
presented.
it, they have a budget presentation that is not on the same night necessarily as our council
The
meeting.
first Monday of the month.
Their budget hearing, I'm not talking about their regular meetings.
Okay.
So back when Chris Christie was governor,
Mm-hmm.
he did away with the voting on annual school board budget, as long as you were below the 2% threshold cap.
Okay,
So
right,
we don't have anything to do with their budget. They create their budget, and by law, they have to keep their budget on the front page of their website for people to see, and they have their public hearing, I believe it's in March or April, they've had their public hearing. So
Okay.
So
so it's only if it's in excess of that percentage?
No, it doesn't
Then
come, it
you
doesn't
guys-
come to us at all anymore. It used to, if it went to the taxpayers and it was voted down, then it would come to the mayor and council, and the mayor and council would make recommendations back to cut this, cut that. That no longer happens. That hasn't happened since the Christie administration.
Okay. All right, because I've never seen our local school budget on a vote. So it's just, and it's not discussed here, but yet it impacts our town. The schools, their ratings, their test scores, and some people may now move here. So our assessed values that are going up, who would want to buy into a town where you can't send your kids to public school if you want a good education?
Well,
Compared to nearby towns.
I take exception to that.
I also take
because-
exception to that as well, that kids that Philborough don't get a good education.
When the ratings are going down.
No, no.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
not-
I look at the published reports.
Yeah, a
So-
published report, I don't know who makes up that published report about which you were speaking, but I
It's
can tell
posted
you,
on the Board of
I can tell you,
Education.
Chris, that I am a retired
Mhm.
educator with
Okay.
44 years of experience in the public schools. I can tell you that there are two people in this world who mean the very most to me, and that's my grandchildren. And I can tell you that without a shadow of a doubt, if I had felt that my grandchildren were not getting an education that was superior, I would have had another job making enough money to send them someplace else. I can tell you, and I want this as a matter of public record,
Okay.
that I stood outside the intermediate school and in the Park Avenue complex the day that my last grandchild graduated from there, and I sobbed because they were leaving what I thought was the best experience they could have had. Both of them are one is graduating from college on Friday. I could not be happier, and I am an educator.
Okay.
I
So
will
I'll
also
just tell
tell
you what I read.
I will also tell you that I feel exactly the same way about the regional district.
Mhm.
And I am
Absolutely.
an educational snob, trust me.
Christian,
I don't like comments like that are misleading, I don't know what published reports you're talking about. I know that word
I'll send
on the
them.
street sometimes
No.
is that, you know, it's
Board of, it's
whatever.
posted on the Board of Ed site. I read it every year.
So Chris, what I would do is pick up the phone, call Dr. Michaels and say, let me come over, we take a look at the school, tell me what's going on over here, what initiatives have you gotten? I've been out of that for a long time, but I'll tell you, when you go over and do that, she will walk you through it, what the test scores are, what's going on. And just to reflect on Sharon's, both of my children went through the school district. My daughter got into Columbia Law, Harvard Law, New York, NYU Law, Virginia Tech, and she'll tell you the reason why she was so successful was that went to all of it, got accepted in all of them, she ended up at Columbia, was the foundation that she got through. So
Okay.
do me a favor.
But
just
the
let me
reports
know.
are on the average.
Exactly, and that's what I
So,
want to go over.
you know,
I don't know what they're doing right now, but I know there's a lot of really exciting things going on over there. And Dr. Michaels would love to have you come over there.
okay.
And
Well, I
general
work, so,
comments,
you know.
such as that, do nothing, do a lot more harm than any assessment we could talk about. So, I have to get that out there, Chris.
No, okay, it's fine, but I brought things here before, and actually, the last time I was here in April, March 16th, it was when the utility rates were going up, the water, sewer, and I sent an email to both Kevin and Steve about the fact that it was never discussed as part of the administrator's report or the workshop report, which is, to me, it's the same thing. Never got a reply to my email. I proved that for at least 6 months, maybe I went 8 months, it had not been discussed during a town meeting. Neither one of them emailed me back a response. So I will send you the reports that I've read on the school, but will anybody respond back?
I have my own report. I have my own report on the school.
That's the schools, send it to the schools, and we don't.
No, but Sharon's taking offense to what I'm saying, and, you know, I spoke to Kevin after the meeting, and I said, no, you hadn't discussed it, and I proved it, and I still didn't get an email back.
Well, I would suggest that you would speak directly, personally, to each one of them and ask them why.
Well, I'm gonna show you what I'm saying, so you're not so offended.
But we
No,
don't know.
you
Okay,
can't.
go to your next budget point.
Okay, I know a lot of the budget is, you talked about staffing, all right? And we're saying, as residents, one post after another for new staff and new positions. But are they really worth our taxpayer money? Code enforcement has 4 people on staff. I have a guy that parks on the sidewalk every single day. Every day parks on the sidewalk. 3 neighbors and myself send things to code enforcement, still parks on the sidewalk, doesn't do a damn thing. So are those 4 people really necessary if they're not enforcing code? Okay? Tax assessor, I haven't had anybody through my house in 6 years. So, you know, although a lot of the stuff comes from the state, who's coming into the houses to see what you really have? I got original kitchen cabinets in my house from 1955, because I can't afford to get new ones. So I bought from this second owner. A lot of my stuff is still original, but that doesn't mean that my house is worth $450. You know, there has to be an inspection to see, are you the average, or no, we can knock off this because you don't have up-to-date X, Y, and Z. We need somebody. So to me right now, the assessor, I don't know, wasted. In the HR division,
Have you appealed your assessment?
no, because I can't get comps. I can't get comps of my house. Nobody's selling a comp that is suitable.
And one of the things I've noticed, it's
it doesn't seem to be the actual building value that's increasing as much as the actual land value.
I've got a tiny
I'm
little
just
yard
saying
and
this-
it backs up.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying from what I've seen with a lot of it's been the land value that's increasing more than the actual structure value.
Mine both go up,
Well, I understand.
okay? My third is an HR division. Now, right now, it's not a department, it's a division, which that would imply there's gonna be more people added, but there's one person there. Whoever never had it needed for HR department or an HR person, so it's like, what is this person doing that, you know, the administrator or somebody else could have done, unless it's setting up for a lot of different changes going on in the future. So staffing, I'm wondering if salary increases and then staffing that I really don't know if it's worth to have, you know, is affecting the budget and increasing the budget.
I personally think, an HR person, you know, I think any organization of any considerable size needs an HR professional. I think HR is a very unique position and deals with very unique things. And I think having a separate HR person, I think is beneficial to the taxpayers because in my opinion, through an separate HR department, or in this case, one person, you can do more accountability with an HR department, in my opinion. I think an HR person is a good addition to the borough. I think it is a good.
And how many employees does the borough have?
Got a lot of employees.
How many?
I don't know the exact number, but it's enough employees to deserve an HR person.
Finance?
I do not know that off the top of my head, but
We'll get that number for you.
Yeah,
We'll get that number for you.
Just,
And do
you
you
know,
work,
just-
where you work, isn't there an HR department? I think. most-
Yeah,
think most
but I
places
work
have an
at
HR
an
department.
international finance company, so, you know,
just to
yeah,
be
we
clear,
need HR.
we have a personnel committee who examines every request for a new employee, and we have a finance committee who makes sure we have the money to pay that employee. We don't arbitrarily make decisions to hire people. So if we have approved for a person to be hired, that means we have examined our needs and determined that that person can fill a gap that we have. So I am certainly a person who pushed for an HR person because I believe that the employees need to have an objective person that they could go to and discuss any issues that they're having. We need a person that is examining salaries, that's creating policies, that maintains the high standard that we have for our employees, and we need to have someone, that has oversight into, you know, disciplinary processes and, you know, all the things that go with
Right,
that.
but we've never needed one before.
I think we should have had one a long time ago.
Yeah, even though we haven't had one, doesn't negate the need that we need one now.
And we should have had.
Things are changing, there's a lot going on with
But a
health
six-figure
benefits.
salary?
That's just what the going rate is, you know, and we have the money to pay that person. We examine that to our personnel committee and we examine that to our finance committee.
Well, considering, you know, the revolving door at the, you know, the front desk and stuff like that, I don't know. Like I said, is it really warranted for the few postings? Steve even said, you didn't have retirees like you expected. So there isn't a lot of movement,
So the fact that we don't have retirees mean there's not a revolving door, that people are staying put.
Right, well, the girls at the window revolve.
No, not very frequently.
And even
But
if
if
they-
I can go back and
There
show
is
you the
revolving
basics.
Well, I can tell you,
But even
they
what they
left
did.
because they weren't getting paid
What's your next
what
one?
another community offered
yeah,
them.
is there another?
Yeah,
So not
even if they-
all-
Right, but that's different than meeting a person
Well-
with a six-figure salary for, what, 5
We
postings a
appreciate,
year?
I appreciate your question. I personally think it's necessary, and I think the majority of council thinks.
All right, I'm just bringing it up.
No, I appreciate it.
Mr. Chairman, if I may too, just to tidy up a few things. Code enforcement personnel, we have 1 supervisor and 1.5 enforcement people, including 1 who's on military leave right now. So we actually have 1 code enforcer and 1 supervisor. Our tax assessor is a part-time tax assessor. He's here 1 day a week. Every home is required to be inspected once every 5 years. We have a company that we contract with to do that. Whether or not a person has their home inspected is up to them. Sometimes they refuse to do it. They've even went so far as to have a remote inspection where you walk
Yeah,
around with a
during
camera.
COVID, yeah.
So it's not only during COVID, they're
No,
doing
but
it
I
now.
haven't been contacted in 6 years.
You
That's
do.
what I'm saying.
You do. I'll find out what the story is. With regard to HR, just two points of the many issues that employee's been involved in since they started. One is, of course, dealing with the aftermath of the library shooting and dealing with personnel issues there and workers' compensation and making sure that people had access to resources to help them deal with what was a very traumatic situation. And then also with health benefits, the HR director has been instrumental in working with us to identify other opportunities for savings in health benefits. As you're aware, we've switched to a different prescription plan.
Which translates to savings for the tax.
It's going to save us more than the salary. That one move will save us more than the employee's salary. And we're also working on our health benefits, where we have a proposal now that we're evaluating because we want to make sure it's legitimate, but it would be a 16% reduction in our health insurance premiums. So that's real savings. And it's the type of thing that you need someone who can dive into and really pull it apart to see if it's actually what it's representing that it is. So in just those few instances, we've had an opportunity for savings.
But yet, it was never discussed in a meeting for me to know about it. So unless I came up here, I wouldn't have known. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public?
Good evening. Ricky Goretz. That conversation that just took place about the new personnel director and what that person does right now, so who was doing that beforehand? That we needed the person to take over those duties. Health benefits, who's taking care of that? You can't hear me? Oh, Sharon! Come on now.
We should get it straight.
So when I just heard about the new personnel director, who was taking care of those things before the personnel director came on? Because we've never had one. So who was taking care of those things?
It was being done, but not efficiently.
Well, and we have department heads who were doing it, and we have business administrator who was doing some of it. This was a unanimous decision by.
That's not what I asked. I didn't ask about unanimous decisions. I just asked who was taking care of it. Thank you. I'm not going into the unanimous
And you
decision.
got your
Obviously it
answer,
was.
you got your answer, you got your answer.
This is the budget hearing, so is that related to a budget issue?
Obviously, it's in the budget, right? The personnel director.
Yeah,
So,
but
thank
that's
you.
a position,
Thank
it's
you.
not up for question.
So let's just start off with the first thing here. You have on your website right now the advertised budget that's under the clerk's required postings. And you have the budget adopting resolutions that don't match. So how are we having a public hearing on something that the public doesn't know which one is supposed to be addressed? You have your advertisement, which is not the same as what you have on your website. How does this happen?
Where's the difference in the advertisement?
Look up the clerk's advertised budget and look up the resolution you have. And you tell me whether revenues and appropriations are covered. I know why. You tell me why.
Due to the amendment
Nope.
from tonight,
No, there's nothing.
what I have on there is what we did after introduction.
What you posted as the advertised copy.
Right.
Correct. Does not match what's in The resolution for adoption,
This is different.
the original.
The original resolution.
The amendment doesn't
Before
matter
the
right now.
amendment.
Yeah, the amendment doesn't matter right now. So, by statute, something's
What
wrong.
I was-
Let's go back to that one. Sure. He's gonna have to keep looking stuff up for me, so. Page 4 of the budget, sheet 4, municipal court revenues. We've anticipated $425,000 for the court. In 2020, you brought in $217,000 in court revenue. 21, you brought 215, 22 and 23, 260, 265. Ironically, in 23, the parking utility was created. September 23, you started charging for parking. 24's court revenue went to 525. In 25, it went to 758. Primarily because of parking tickets. So you're subsidizing the activities from the parking utility in the current fund right now with this extra minute. To the tune of where we have municipal court, where it was always said the revenue from parking would stay with parking. And it's not, obviously. You're subsidizing the current fund budget right now. You're trying to tell the public you're maintaining the revenue stream and the taxes and all that, but you're taking the revenue stream that belongs to parking and utilizing it. That's not what we were told parking was going to be used for. Sheet 6, your UCC fees. You have $220,000 in revenues anticipated. It's costing us over $300,000 for the department. The department's supposed to be self-liquidated. It's supposed to operate on its own accord. So you might want to look into increasing those fees. Sheet 7, code enforcement with Freehold Township. You have $0 in revenue. That's part of your amendment tonight. That there's an appropriation outside the cap that you were putting in for $30,000. Should have never occurred. When you have a revenue, you have an appropriation. Sheet 9, safe and secure grant, $45,150. Where's that?
That is currently under review. We don't have approval for it yet, so it's not included.
What's your time frame on the grant? It runs from May to May. We're at the end of the
So we have
cycle.
conversations with them that it will be included once it's done approved.
So, how are you gonna get the outside the cap appropriations there?
I would have to look at that for you.
There's $400,000 in outside the cap appropriations that aren't there right now.
But those have been appropriated inside the cap, so they are there, it's just not outside.
Okay. Is there a problem? Why there's a delay in that? Because that's usually done by March.
It was just a reporting thing, so once it's been completed, it will be added.
Have you done the resolution for the council to accept it yet?
Not yet.
Cops More grant, didn't we apply for one last year for $500,000? I don't see that anywhere.
Which grant was this?
Cops More, $500,000.
I did not have that one listed, so I would have to look into that for you.
Okay, thank you. Sheet 11. Your total realized revenues in the AFS is different than what's in your budget document by $215,000.
That was brought up by the state and has been corrected on the amendment.
Can you tell me what all those corrections are? Because that's what we're voting on tonight. That's what we're here to discuss, and we don't have the correct information. Do you know what the $215,000 represents?
It was a couple of lines that had been added up to it. So the state brought it to our attention and the adjustments were made.
Can you send it to me, please, so I know what it is?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Sheet 12 for the clerk and the business administrator. Sheet 13 for the finance salaries and wages and court. On sheet 15E, did the state require you to have a cap-based adjustment for moving those salaries over to park?
That was brought up and they did not tell me to do a cap-based adjustment.
Sheet 15A, your police salaries for $4.5 million. Can you tell me how many full-time officers we have?
31.
And how much is budget for overtime?
I would have to look that number, I don't know it off the top of my head.
So you don't know what makes up the $4.5 million?
I know it's salaries,
No, it is
SLEOs.
salaries, it's all salaries, I wanna know what the breakdown was of it.
Well, it's full-time officers, part-time officers with SLEOs, clerks, administration, overtime, crossing guards is included. No, that is OE, sorry.
Business personal property is on the amendment, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Your library for the debt service was never charged out to transfer to capital. You had mentioned that you're looking into going into a different insurance. Are we in that insurance right now, or are we still in state health benefits?
Still in state health benefits.
When do we expect to hopefully have?
I would,
Projected 20%.
it would be next year. It's
Definitely next year?
It's not gonna be this year.
Okay, thank you. Debt service, you've already explained, that it's increasing $216,000 or 12.2%. That has gone up for the last 4 years in a row, and we're not paying anything down principal-wise dramatically enough to make any headway in it. Debt service has gone up threefold since January 1st of 2020, and it just keeps going up. With the 2 buildings that we have on the horizon, there's another $34 million coming. Sheet 28, you don't have the over expenditure of the capital ordinance, it's in your AFS, why not?
The AFS was adjusted, there was open PO that was on the ordinance that once removed, brought it back down in line and was adjusted.
So that's not an over expenditure.
Correct.
All right, thank you. Same thing on the pay or charge, AFS to, your budget document, sheet 29, it's off by $194,000. How many line items does that cover that were incorrect?
I would have to look, but it was lines that were adjusted and amended and revised.
Can you send that to me, please?
Of course.
Thank you. Water sewer. Sheet 31, the connection fees that we're anticipating is 0. If hometown redevelopment is kicking off, why don't we anticipate any revenues there?
We don't have anything that is concrete on how much that they will bring in. We did not want to anticipate anything that we did not have either a check in hand or a signed agreement about.
Well, you did that last year. You had nothing in hand at the time either, so why is it different this year?
I was not here last year, I cannot say what was done last year.
But hometown redevelopment is coming immediately.
Immediately?
Yeah, July.
It's gonna be before the land use board in July. Traditionally, most communities charge connection fees at issuance of CO. That could be a couple of years off in terms of the construction. Construction should be anywhere from 18 to 24 months.
Okay.
We have had discussions with developers and told them that they should pay their connection fees now for 2 reasons. Number one is, as you know, they're annually adjusted and they could go up. And number 2, we only have limited capacity. So if you don't reserve your water now or your sewage capacity now, it might not be there if we have a competing project that wants to take that capacity, and they have prepaid their connection fees. So it's in the pipeline, it's gonna happen. It's just, Christopher's very conservative. He won't let me put numbers in, so it's coming.
Okay. Regarding that then, why were we able to do it last year?
Well, there was one that did pay last year. 200 Park Avenue paid their connection fees. I don't recall the exact number, but we did get connection fee revenues of, I believe it was in excess of $100,000.
We did, but we never realized what we anticipated last year, so obviously last year's numbers were stretched to begin with to that. So
Well, I was hoping I could get, number one, as you know, redevelopment takes forever. Sometimes things happen overnight, sometimes they drag out. There's any number of variables that can affect progress on a particular job. In particular about Hometown, they're facing some challenges with regard to assemblage, and there are a number of property owners who think their properties are worth 8 times what they're really worth. But we're moving forward now. Offers have been made, and the Broad Street School is about to be transferred into the title. So those things take time, and in this instance, I was hoping Hometown would have paid something already, but they're not at that point yet. They are into this for over $7 million already. So there's no doubt that they're going to progress with their project, otherwise they're going to lose $7 million.
You mentioned that the connection fee gets done annually. When was the last time it was done?
I'm not certain.
Because I don't recall it being done once,
Yeah.
so.
We are doing it this year. I asked the water sewer engineer to conduct the calculation.
Sheet 32B, interest on bonds and notes, I believe that your figures are incorrect. That should be on the accrual basis, not on what we're paying. Based upon the salaries you have in water sewer, your social security is gonna be short by $5,277 if you pay those salaries. So you already got a line item that you know you're gonna have to transfer to if you pay your salaries. And once again, the total paid or charge there is different than the AFS by $30,000. So if you can supply me the difference there too, please.
Of course.
Thank you. Parking. Salaries and wages increase of $130,000, 54% increase. That the state isn't requiring a cap adjustment is beyond me, but following that, your social security will be short $28,000 by moving all those salaries over there. And on top of that, the detail of what you gave me is being charged there is $385,000, not $370,000. So you're gonna be short on that too, if you end up allocating all those wages the way it is. And if you're allocating all those wages, PERS should be allocated as well accordingly for all those percentages that you're moving 40 and 50% over for, or 10%, whatever it might be. Sheet 38, and no dedication by riders included. Sheet 39, you're missing your federal and state grant revenues that are receivable of $5.4 million. You're missing your deferred school taxes of $1,474,000. And here's the kicker, sheet 40 through 40 days, completely blank, your capital budget. An introduced budget that you all voted on has no capital budget. How does the public even know what you're voting on for your capital budget? We don't even know what's coming up with a 6-year plan that's required by statute. What'd the state say about that?
It was not part of that question.
They didn't bring that up at all, that you had blank sheets in the budget, for your capital budget. Not one comment.
No comment on
That's a statutory violation. That everybody voted on, the public doesn't see it. Is it in the final now? Do you have it in the final that they're gonna adopt? So that somebody can see what the capital budget is? Or are those sheets still blank?
that. They're still on at the moment.
What are you voting on? You're voting on a capital budget that's up here in the document you're supposed to be approving, and it's all blank. What are you voting on? Nothing? And the public doesn't know what those capital projects are gonna be for the next 6 years that you planned? It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. The debt service, the pay down on the library ordinance, 21-1. You had $323,000 available in your capital fund. You only used $80,000. Is there a reason for that? Instead of getting rid of another $200 and some odd $1,000
Where is this?
in your general capital. You have reserved for payment of debt service for the library, and you only paid down $80,000 on the notes.
Hmm.
Is there any reason you're saving 200 some odd thousand and costing the taxpayers more interest?
No reason.
So with all that being said, and the budget that was introduced that we know is gonna have an amendment, is the amendment gonna have a public hearing as well?
No, the amendment does not require a advertisement public hearing.
Increase or decrease of any item of appropriation by 10%? You're
The
adding new appropriations?
amendment has been approved by the Division of Voter Service without an advertisement specifically. I understand your question.
Isn't that the statute?
I understand what the statute is.
So the state said, don't worry about the statute?
State said we were approved for the amendment.
Who was the reviewer from the state?
Cheryl Sampson.
Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. I think you have a lot to consider on this budget. Oh, yeah, one last thing. There's still $685,000 sitting there in reserve for tax appeals that hasn't been touched in 4 years for Nestle's and the racetrack that have been adjudicated. Why are we holding that money from the taxpayers? It should be put back into surplus. And your surplus, by the way, is got a $500,000 one-time shot in there. It's the only reason you rebuilt your surplus, along with your parking ticket revenues that are through the roof in the current fund. It's the only reason you're rebuilding surplus. It's not because there's any new revenue items that you're generating. You're taking money from your parking utility and your one-shot deals to say that you're rebuilding. Thank you. Go ahead, George, knock him out.
Anyone else from the public?
Go ahead, George.
I guess the first thing I'm gonna do is probably cancel my Netflix subscription because I have plenty of entertainment here.
You're gonna make more, keep
Hey,
going.
hey, hey, not you.
So,
No, I'm just gonna comment about it, I said, thank you for that.
You had your
Thank
turn.
you.
You're
first
welcome.
question,
You had your turn.
first question I have, has the Freehold Borough Auditor reviewed the budget? Yes. Second question I have, has the Freehold Borough Auditor certified or will certify the budget? Third question, you put the budget through to the state, through the FAST system. So I'm assuming the state of New Jersey reviewed the budget. Is that correct? And like many other municipalities, the state of New Jersey gave a list of questions. And you answered all those questions or made the clarifications, is that correct? So the state of New Jersey now is allowing you to adopt and approve the budget, is that correct?
Correct, with the amendments.
Okay. I mean, I didn't want to get lost in the weeds, just wanted to keep it high level. Everybody's approved. Thank you.
Anyone else from the public?
I'm just gonna come up real quick. Caroline Brogliati, Acre Drive. I just wanna say I came here to listen to the budget presentation, and after hearing some of the information, I am very concerned about you adopting this budget and the resolution at this time. It seems like there's a lot of holes in regards to parking, the municipal court, other things that are blank, so that's my personal statement. That's what I just wanna say. I'm concerned about you doing that at this point in time. Thank you.
Anyone else from the public?
Seeing no further comment from the public, I'll move the following portion be closed.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilperson DeBenedetto?
Yes.
Freeman?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Reich?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schutzer?
Yes.
Okay, the public hearing on the budget is closed. Item 9 is a resolution of Borough of Freehold to amend the 2026 annual budget. Maybe, go ahead.
I'll move that.
I'll second.
Maybe just a quick update on that amendment.
Yeah, so the amendment is because the state did review the budget and found some clerical errors that need to be adjusted. These answer those errors, and we were deemed allowed to adopt with amendments.
Any discussion from council? Roll call, please.
Councilperson DeBenedetto?
Yes.
Freeman?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Reich?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schutzer?
Yes.
Okay, resolution to amend the budget is adopted. Item 10 is a resolution of the Borough of Freehold to adopt the 2026 annual budget.
I'll move that.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yes, I just want to thank our finance team, our business administrator for the work that they put in there. I realize there are some questions which I'm confident that you can give the answer to. We have discussed this extensively. We've gone over every single line in this budget, and know, for your, we do use a lot of grants to keep the burden off of our taxpayers, and as Steve said, you are pretty strict with that. So I appreciate your, conservatism and, keeping us on track with what we need to do to be responsible for our taxpayers.
Any further discussion?
Yes, and Margaret chairs our finance committee, and to you and the finance committee, Margaret, thank you. That's all.
Any further discussion? Yeah, I just also want to thank you, Chris, thank you, Steve, the auditors, for the work that you put in. The state has an intense review process, and they do all that, but I want to go back to 2 slides that we talked about in the presentation. This first one, on average assessed values. Since 2020, the last 6 years, our average assessed values is up almost 81.3%. The average assessed property has almost doubled in 6 years here. So something's happening here. People want to live in this town. And the second thing was a change in municipal taxes. It went up like 585,000. 562,000 of that was directly related to insurance costs and the spike in insurance. So all said, I think we're doing a great job, and I just want to also thank you guys. I think this is a great budget. Some things we need to tweak, but all in all, it's a great budget, so thank you. Anybody, any further discussion?
Yeah, I just like to say, I like the fact that the budget being looked at more conservatively. I think not counting water connection fees until there's a contract or a check in hand. I mean, that's why I have to run my commercial, because, I can only budget based on what I know is coming in and it's under contract, and so I appreciate that conservative approach, so thank you.
Anybody else? Give a roll call, please.
Councilperson Benedetto?
Yes.
Friedman?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Reich?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schutzer?
Yes.
Okay, the 2026 annual budget is adopted. Item 11 is the second reading public hearing ordinance 2026/11, amending, fixing, and determining salaries of certain officers, position, and employees of the Borough of Freehold. This is the second reading of public hearing. We'd like to open up to the public for any comments on this ordinance.
Just one quick question. What's changing in this ordinance compared to the last ordinance that we adopted for these salaries?
The change is related to raising the minimum wage for camp counselors.
Okay, so then the one that we adopted back in June 16th of 25, the judge realizes that his salary is going down because his range went to 75,000 back in 25, he's dropping down to 67.
Okay, I don't know if that's,
the ordinance you're adopting, then you need to be aware of the fact that that's going to be a decrease for the salary.
yeah, we'll take a look at that.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else in the public here address this ordinance?
Seeing no further comment from the public, I move the public portion be closed.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilperson Benedetto?
Yes.
Friedman?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Reich?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schutzer?
Yes.
Okay, the public comment section is closed. We have a resolution adopting ordinance 2026/11 and authorization of publication.
I'll move that.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Councilperson Benedetto?
Yes.
Friedman?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Reich?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schutzer?
Yes.
The ordinance 2026/11 is adopted. Item 12 is the first reading and introduction ordinance 2026/12, adopting an amended redevelopment plan entitled 500 Park Avenue redevelopment plan for block 110, lot 7.01, 8, and 8.01 pursuant to the local redevelopment housing law and JSA 48:12A, 1 and sec.
I'll move that.
Second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilperson De Benedetto?
Yes.
Freeman?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Reich?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schuster?
Yes.
The ordinance 2026-12 is introduced. Item 13 is our consent agenda. And just to note that matters listed on the items of consent agenda required to conduct the day-to-day operations of the borough will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. There'll be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion desired of any items, that item will be considered separately. Someone like to move our consent agenda items CR 1 through CR 11?
I'll move CR 1 through CR 11.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilperson De Benedetto?
Yes.
Freeman?
Yes, but I abstain on CR 3.
Jordan?
Yes.
Reich?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schuster?
Yes.
Okay, consent agenda items CR 1 through CR 11 are adopted. That's the end of our consent agenda. Item 14 is the approval of bills.
I make a motion that we pay our bills.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilperson De Benedetto?
Yes.
Freeman?
Yes, but I abstain on 26-00639.
Jordan?
Yes.
Reich?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schuster?
Yes.
Okay, our bill list for this evening's meeting is approved. Item 15 are public comments. If anyone from the public care to make a comment to the governing body, please step forward, state your name and address for the record.
Ms. Velasco, for Phyllis again. So I had mentioned before how I was having an issue with code enforcement. When a car parks on the sidewalk, is that code enforcement or police?
That depends, that depends. If you want, you can give your address, I'll ask you for the public comment, and I'll put your complaint on the wall, and I'll speak with controls to look into the matter for you.
Okay, because code enforcement isn't doing anything, so, you know, I didn't know who it fell under. Okay? All right, thank you.
Anyone else care to make a comment to the governing body?
Richard Lawrence, you indicated earlier that there was no litigation with the hometown redevelopment.
That's correct.
That's correct. Well, then somebody's lying. So I have an opener that says differently.
I think you assumed something that wasn't true.
I
Okay?
didn't assume anything. I opened a document. You said it was in litigation. Somebody told me it was in litigation.
It was in litigation.
Well, you just said there was no litigation.
It's not between the borough and the developer.
The document I requested is,
You assumed that the litigation was between the borough and the developer, and it is not.
but so then the document I requested is from the developer. So what's the litigation problem?
It's currently in litigation, and there are facts that shouldn't be disclosed.
A cash receipt can't be disclosed that's deposited in your bank account?
Yes, that's correct.
Really?
Yeah.
From the redeveloper?
The
But
deve-
that's not the litigation.
That sum of money was sent to the borough in anticipation of resolving litigation condemning a property. Okay, the disclosure of the amount of that deposit could jeopardize the litigation and the settlement in it.
I know the amount.
I know you do.
disclose that right
I know
now.
you. Go ahead.
How
Go
could
ahead.
that be a violation? It's a public document that I got.
You got it, but you're not party to the litigation. Okay,
But what
and
you just said makes no sense then.
nobody else asked for it. It makes perfect sense.
The dollar amount can't be disclosed, yet I know the dollar
No,
amount.
we didn't tell you it couldn't be
You
disclosed.
just said that.
No, I didn't.
You did.
I did not.
Then what did you say?
I said the information you were seeking isn't disclosable.
That's not what you just said at the end now.
Well,
That's not. You're doing your soup here again with the words.
the fact of the matter is, you assumed something,
What I
you
requested
assumed
was a
something
cash
that was
receipt From the
inaccurate.
redeveloper. And you said, or whoever said, it's in litigation.
That's correct.
A cash receipt from the redeveloper is in litigation. Yet there's no litigation with the redeveloper.
It's not between the borough and the developer. You assumed it was, but
I
it's
didn't
not.
assume anything.
Yes, you
It
did.
says strictly in your records who it came from.
You asked us for documents related to the litigation
None of
between.
that. I asked for
You gonna
one
let me
cash
finish?
receipt. I asked for one cash receipt.
Why don't you finish that up and I'll answer you.
What is the problem with the cash receipt that's posted in your records?
No problem with it at all.
That's what I opened. So if there's no problem, why haven't I been provided?
I'll answer your question when you're finished.
I'm finished.
okay? You can take your seat and I'll answer your question. I'm not debating you on this issue,
I'm not debating anything.
Okay.
I'm waiting for the answer.
okay? You'll get it after you sit down.
What do you think you're talking to? I just
Wait,
asked the
wait,
question.
sorry, listen, are you done?
I just asked that question. I'm not done yet until I get this answer.
The public portion is not an open dialogue. You can make your statement and then when you're
Well,
done.
you started the open dialogue with me, so what, you just pick and choose what you have the dialogue in? Well, take that. So the public knows how this works. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
We had a situation where a sum of money was deposited with the borough in anticipation of a resolution of a condemnation action against the property owner. The amount of that money, while it was obvious because it was transferred, and it was on our books, was not disclosed to the general public. If the seller of the property were aware of the amount that was deposited, they would be prejudiced in terms of what they would be willing to accept as part of a settlement of this litigation. We didn't advertise it, but there's certainly no way to put a deposit into our account without it being on our records. Mr. Gartz got a hold of our records and he immediately started opening documents related to a closing. He assumed that that was payment for the closing of the purchase of Old Borough Hall. And it was not. It was totally unrelated, okay? Totally unrelated to that transaction. So there were no documents that he was looking for. He was asking for closing documents and agreements and stuff like that, none of which existed, and that's what he was told. He also wanted to know, about the litigation, when in fact, it was litigation between the borough and the property owner whose property was being condemned, not between the developer and the borough, okay? And it was false information, it was inaccurate, it was being spread around the community, it's inaccurate. But we weren't in a position to announce to the world that this is what this matter was about, okay? It's very close to resolution and it should be finalized within the next couple of days.
So with that being said, it would be safe to say then that they do not own 51 West Main Street yet and have not paid the borough their $2.8 million that's in the contract. Thank you.
Anyone else from the public care to make a comment? Seeing no public comments, I'd like to close the public portion.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilperson DeBenedetto?
Yes.
Friedman?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Reich?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schutzer?
Yes.
Public comment section is closed. Council reports and comments. Start off with Council President Green.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming out. I want to thank all of the coaches and the band and the residents who made yesterday such a fantastic day in the community. I want to thank our police for being around. Didn't hear of any problems, but it was always nice seeing them drive around in case there were, so thank you. I'm not in a suit today because we had our municipal golf outing, which was a really successful event, so I want to thank all the people that helped that event go off, and I would like to congratulate our new police officer. So it's great to have another class special to the force, and look forward to working with her. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Schutzer.
Yes, Councilwoman Annette Jordan, Councilman Jeff Friedman, and I worked the Lions golf outing today. And as you know, that the Alliance is a very, very important shared service between the borough and the township. And we provide, through these fundraisers, we provide wonderful programs for the high schools and the intermediate schools in the township and the borough. So we had a delightful golf outing today. Hot, very warm golf outing today, but the golfers seem to like it, and that's why we were late, and that's why we are casually closed. a hot day, but, the town was hopping with people, and there seemed to be just a very positive, good spirit in town, so thank you for that. I also want to, congratulate the Memorial Day Parade Committee for the concert, the fundraising concert that they provided Father Alphonse Orchestra, the C, I think it's called, and it was Saturday evening, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful program. The McGackin Awards are this Thursday night, and I'm happy to say there aren't any tickets left. It's a sold-out event, and our honorees, again, publicly, we congratulate them, and that is the Volunteer of the Year would be Wendell Everett. The Businessman of the Year is Keith Lewis from Sweet Lou's Cafe, and the Organization of the Year is Food Stock. And he wouldn't want me to say it, but Mr. Swisher right here he and his family spearhead that drive, which provides an amazing amount of food for our food banks in town, especially Open Door. This Saturday is our street sign topper program, and being honored are outstanding, excellent veterans, Andrew Zarnowski, William Conover, Joseph Rafulowitz, James Sweetman, Albert Dictionary, and Charles Malkovich. Many of these you will know by other things other than the fact that they're veterans, and that is that Andrew Zarnowski was an employee of the borough for quite a few years. William Conover is a long-time, lifelong resident and former councilman for the borough, served as a councilperson. James Sweetman was the husband of one of our council people, Sue Sweetman, and I'm sure many of you who grew up here know the name Mr. Malco, Charlie Malkovich, who was a coach and worked with youth in town for many, many years. What? Babe Ruth League. Babe Ruth League. I think that the only, I don't know about Mr. Pictionary, but I think all of the others will be honored posthumously at this service for outstanding records as veterans. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember De Benedetto.
Yes, happy belated birthday, Sharon.
Oh, thank you.
Your birthday was yesterday. Jeff threw a big party around town with bands and all. And with that said, I'd like to thank Jeff and all the people who are involved, the police, the porches themselves. I try to make it around all the porches. You just can't do it. To thank the residents for opening up their homes and allowing these musicians to come in and people to come outside of town to enjoy our town. Father Alfonso was a great hit again. I attended that. Adam, congratulations to you on Memorial Day for another warm and beautiful night at the Presbyterian Church. Belong to the Elks, so I went to the Elks Golf Tournament today. I've been an Elk for 39 years, and today they do many fundraisers and charitable things. Today they honored some veterans today. They were out on the course, and it was a great day and a great event today. So thank you all for coming out.
Thank you. Councilmember Jordan.
Thank you. Just got a couple things. Recreation is partnering with the PBA, the Mayor's Wellness Committee, and We're the Future to do a Reel in the Fun fishing expo at the pond on June 7th. You can sign up via the QR code on the flyers. It's for children for the most part. It's gonna start at 7:30 in the morning, because apparently that's when the fish are out. And it'll be at Lake Tucumena. So it's on the website to sign up, as well as our flyers that we have throughout town. July 5th will be the fireworks at the racetrack. We've locked in Mission Dance. We also have a DJ. There'll be many food trucks. I saw on Facebook somebody had asked, well, why not the 4th or the 3rd? There's a major concert at the Park Stage at the Monmouth County Fairgrounds on the 3rd. We originally wanted that date, so public safety issues, we moved it to the 5th. So hopefully we'll see everybody out there. Again, no pets and no alcohol. So gates open at 5 p.m., so we hope to see everybody out. Excuse me, and no backpacks as well. Participatory budgeting project ideas are open for this round. You can go online, you can take a look and submit any application, any project ideas that you have. We've also, in the process of updating the site, it might be done by now, where any outstanding projects that we do have, there's a timeline on there when they will be done. It's going to get a lot of questions about, well, what about this and what about this? It'll all be up there. If people have questions, they can go onto the website and take a look at that. The grand reopening of Open Doors, Sharon had talked a little bit about it, is going to be May 30th at their new location. It's 80 Throckmorton. It'll be a nice event. There'll be food. There'll be limited tours in the event, but it's an organization that does a lot for our community, and everyone in the community is invited to come out. It starts at 12 noon at their newest location. It's right across from the Concord Lodge. And there's going to be a blood drive that will be sponsored by the health department. I haven't got the exact date, but it is up online. It is in June. I think it's the second week in June. So if anybody would like to give some blood, please go on and sign up. And that's going to be at the Elks. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Rogers.
Thank you. I just want to bring your attention to 2 events that we have for June. The first one is we are having our annual pride flag raising on June 1st, the first Monday in June at 5:15. We love to see the community come out and support. And then we will do our Juneteenth flag raising on June 18th. So that is our first Saturday of June 19th. And that will also be at 5:15. So we'd love to see the community come out and help us celebrate these 2 occasions. I just want to, once again, thank you for participating in our budget discussion. Thank everyone for coming out for the questions. Keeps us on our toes, that's for sure. And everyone have a good evening.
Thank you. Councilmember Rush.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd also like to thank you, both our professionals and the public for coming out to the budget hearing this evening. It's nice to be able to have people in the seats when we have these council meetings, so thank you again. Just to piggyback on what Councilmember Stretcher said, the Veterans Recognition Program starts at 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday the 23rd. The first stop is at Yard and Broad, and we will circle through town to 6 different locations, 5 different locations, and it ends about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So if you join us for the first one, we'll let you know where everyone is consecutively. The last one that we did, a lot of family members and community members came out to celebrate the veterans that were being honored. And we hope to have as many turn out this year, even with the potential forecast for Saturday morning not being the best. The concert that happened at Saturday night, the Memorial Day Parade Committee's concert, which hosted Father Alphonse Stevenson and the Orchestra St. Peter's by the Sea, was wonderful. It's my second time seeing Father Alphonse conduct the orchestra. There's a huge following for the orchestra and for him as well. And it was nice to see everybody coming to town for the concert. Thank you to Downtown Field for assisting us with promotions for the concert as well. I think my favorite piece of the night is the one where he recognizes each of the armed services by playing their theme song in a medley. And he asks all the members who serve to stand up and recognize as well. And it was very nice to see the different members of the community standing up, who were part of different services, and when they served. Everybody said great things about Porch Fest. It was wonderful. It was a great day for it. It was awesome. We flipped it up this year. We went from south to north instead of north to south, trying to get as many porches as we could. It's too much, but that's a good thing. And it was a really, really good time. And I have a lot of friends that were talking about it and whatnot, and looking forward to the 5th one already.
Excellent.
Just a note about the Memorial Day Parade. Our committee did the lineup this past week, and for the first time in recent memory, we ran our road. We actually have so many units that are, not the number of units, but the size of the units are so large that we actually have to do some adjustments in order to make sure that everybody fits into the area that's being closed off for the parade. And that is also a good thing to have. The parade is a very popular event for our town. It's great to see all the participants, all the organizations, all the companies come out and join. And we're looking forward to another great parade on Monday, Memorial Day, the 25th. The Elks Point service starts at 8:30 a.m. And then the parade starts officially at 9:45 a.m. with a horse-drawn caisson being carried through town, surrounded by a color guard. And then the units for the parade itself will step off at 10 o'clock in the morning. There's some amazing spots downtown to sit and watch the parade. And I just want to thank in advance all the residents and business owners that allowed the community to congregate on their front yards for the parade on the route. Other than that, again, thank you all for coming. Looking forward to seeing everybody this weekend for the Memorial Day festivities. And have a good night.
Thank you. I just wanted to say, thank you all for coming out tonight. Thanks again to Chris, to Steve, for the budget. Jeff, congrats yesterday. There were people all over the place, so.
It was a good day.
Great job, great job. Thank you. There being no further business, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilperson Benedetto?
Yes.
Freeman?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Reich?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schutzer?
Yes.
Thank you. Good night. We are adjourned.